Hi, Gloria Brooks here with Nature Glows eScience. Today I want to talk about homeschool, the value of homeschool free play. So what I mean by free play or just childhood play, back in the 70s and 80s, I was a young girl and I remember just like freely running the streets of Poughkeepsie, New York. In this day and age, that is almost unheard of. Kids don't really run the streets. There's a lot of fear around that, and rightfully so. It's a bigger society. Our population has increased. There's more crime in cities, etc., etc. And the news and media also kind of hypes up the dangers around us. So very few kids are, just running, roaming, walking. Even they don't even walk themselves to school anymore. But I know in the 70s and 80s, that was how I had so much fun, is I would walk myself to school as early as second grade. I think I started, or first or second grade. And I would like play with caterpillars. Like I remember looking after school, especially when I actually had time, I would look for these caterpillars. I don't know their names, but they were pretty prevalent, and I would just I loved like touching them and petting them because they're so soft and fuzzy. And I would go to the playground and meet other kids and just play, and then I would be home before dark. But the key was finding other kids to play with, such as in my neighborhood and kids from my school. And I had one little girl named Chantalay. We used to go to the candy store together, no adult supervision. She usually was the one with the money. She would buy me lemon heads, Red Hots. If some of you remember those candies from the 80s or late 70s, actually. And then we would go to her place and play in her backyard for a couple of hours before I'd walk myself home. But I'm very fortunate to have really happy memories before I was actually put into foster care. And even in foster care, I was put into foster care a number of times. For those of you who don't know my story, I was raised by a single mother who had mental illness. And social services in New York State finally did take myself and my half-brother Sean away and put us in various foster homes. And I enjoyed free play in those foster homes as well. It was just a time, the 70s and 80s, there seemed to be a lot more leniency with kids actually being able to play without adult supervision. Times have changed. But free play, what do kids learn? They learn to cooperate and get along with each other. This is such a vital skill. These are community skills that we all need as human beings. Like, look at our world right now. How, here homeschool parents are just feeling all this pressure for slogging through workbooks and getting through curriculum. But don't underestimate the importance of free play, allowing your kids to play in the backyard if that's the safest place, and just let them learn to cooperate. And I know we as adults, we get really stressed out when kids are like arguing and fighting, and it's like, I've been there. I've been a private school educator for 14 years, and it's like we want to squash that. But, and that's our natural tendency is to jump in and intervene. But it's a skill for kids to learn how to figure that out and learn to cooperate together. Now, granted, if someone is really doing physical harm, it is good to have an adult there to stop that and help mediate. But free play, unsupervised by adults, not adult-led, that's what we're talking about here, is the most valuable time for kids to learn these vital, important cooperation skills and how to get along with each other, how to share. These are life skills. And let's talk about what is play. So I look to Dr. Peter Gray, who is a huge proponent for child self-directed education, aka otherwise known as unschooling. He talks about it being child chosen and child self-directed. And usually it works best when kids have other kids to play with, because humans are social creatures. Now, many times there are kids that are, born without siblings. So then, neighborhood kids to play with. And I know now with the social distancing, it makes it, really challenging for kids to get together with other kids these days. I know that's really hard to deal with. But hopefully there are opportunities where you can still get together with neighborhood kids or other homeschooling families with kids and find a way to play together in a safe way during the pandemic. So play teaches children self-reliance. And that was probably the biggest keystone I got as a kid, is I did develop a strong sense of independence, a strong ability to make choices for myself. So another vital life skill. So play allows children to discover what they like to do. They develop their passions, which sometimes can work their way into careers. But really, it's strongly recommended that kids have, at least, at very least an hour, but, couple hours, 2, 3, the longer the better, really, per day. And this is where unschooling is a really wonderful homeschool modality. Unschoolers, allow their kids to be totally self-directed, and inevitably kids will choose to, have self-directed play. And what does that look like? They pretend to be superheroes. They build forts. I know as a kid, when I was in foster care, I had this other boy who, his family that I lived with, Robbie, he and I used to build forts all the time in the woods. They had like 20 acres on their land. It was really beautiful. We used to also look for like rocks and minerals on the property. Kids always know what to do with their time. I guess, it might not seem like it. If kids are used to always being structured by adults, sometimes it might seem like they don't know what to do with themselves. But the more that you allow them to have free time to do with as they choose, they will develop those important skills to know what to do with that time. So play is always structured by the child. Imagination is fired up when they're during play. They step outside of the real world and they pretend to be superheroes, play hide and seek, make up any myriad of games pretending to be adults. That's like a big theme with child plays. They're learning the ways of becoming adults so that they're prepared for the adult life. All right, so I hope that those tips will help you today and encourage you as a homeschooler during, whatever season it is that you're watching this video. This happens to be the winter season, which sometimes can be, the winter doldrums is a famous phrase in the homeschool community. Just allow more free play time for your kids, unstructured by adults. Just let them be child self-directed. All right, if you have any comments, go ahead, scroll down, give me a comment about this post today. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Give me a thumbs up if you're watching me on YouTube. Smash that subscribe button. Join me. Love to have you. And also, I invite you to check out my Math Learning Secrets guide. It's a brand new digital downloadable PDF guide. It's 37 pages. It's a quick read, and I teach you how to set up your home for optimal child self-directed, passionate math learning, stepping away from, the usual workbook drudgery, math curriculum drudgery. And that also segues into my Math Art 4-course year-long program for kids ideally ages 10 to 18. Younger kids that like to work alongside their siblings also do well on the program, or if parents can work alongside younger students, younger than 10, it works well for them too. All right, so grab your copy while it's this low of a price. Just click that link with this post, and I hope to see you on the inside of